Hey everybody, and welcome back to another weather sim forecast. And in today's forecast, we're going to be talking about a large storm that's going to be coming to the United States over the next couple of days. And this is going to be a big one, as not only are we expecting the potential for severe weather across much of the plains and even back over there into the Ohio Valley, but we still are looking at the potential for flash flooding, especially once you head into areas of Kentucky and Tennessee, and even including parts of the lower Ohio Valley, where we could be talking about some higher rainfall totals. And then after that, it does look like we will need to be watching the tropics still, as we still got Hurricane Gabrielle around, which still continues to bring maybe a little bit of rain and perhaps even some wind to parts of Bermuda. But once again, that looks to stay just to the east of you guys, thankfully. And then we will also be going over some things that we could see in the future, such as temperatures, precipitation, and we'll even be looking at what we could see in the tropics once we head into the future as well. Let's first begin with what's happening across the United States right now, and you guys can see that we do have two areas to watch for. Like I was saying in the last video, we still got that sight risk down here across Oklahoma, panhandle of Texas, and even over there into areas of southern Kansas, but they actually just added a new sight risk for severe weather to areas right around areas of Omaha and even up there into Lincoln, Nebraska as well. So you guys are now included in that level 2 out of 5 threat. And we could also be seeing even a few severe storms over here in the Ohio Valley, which does not appear to be nearly as significant compared to what we're expecting over here in the plains, but we could still be talking about a few storms here and there across the Ohio Valley that do produce some damaging winds, which appears to be the main concern overall. And it still does appear that we'll still have that chance of potentially seeing a few tornadoes today, which once again, that doesn't really appear to be likely, but that is still something that we're going to watch very closely if you do live up here across Omaha, Nebraska, or even the western part there of Iowa. But I think we're especially going to need to watch down here across Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and even up there into southern areas of Kansas. We could also be seeing some large hail, which for my opinion, I think that's going to be the main concern overall, and we could even be seeing even a couple damaging wind gusts, which appears to be the main concern back over there into parts of the Ohio Valley. So this will be a pretty big day overall, to say the least, especially across the plains where damaging winds, hail, and even a few tornadoes will be possible. I do also think tomorrow will be another day to watch for, as they actually just expanded this marginal risk to now include areas back over there into western Texas, but it now also includes areas of Kentucky and even down there into parts of the deep south. So a much bigger area compared to how it was looking like yesterday, especially since we now got this yellow color showing up for tomorrow, which is a level 2 out of 5 threat, especially across areas in Little Rock, Arkansas, down there just to the north of DFW, and even just south there of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And tomorrow, it's actually a little more concerning, by the way. We did not realize this until we really took a full look at the models, because now that models are showing a much more elevated tornado threat, it looks like tomorrow is actually going to be way more concerning. And this, I mean, it didn't even look like this yesterday, so it's kind of surprising that the Storm Prediction Center actually added a 5% risk for tornadoes tomorrow, which we will talk about why in just a second. And you should also be aware, if you do live in that green color, we also do have that chance for some hail, and we could also be talking about some damaging winds as well. But like I said, tomorrow is pretty surprising since it didn't even look nearly like this yesterday. But still, we're going to need to watch tomorrow very closely, which will be for your Tuesday, so make sure you guys are ready for tomorrow, as it does look to even be potentially a bigger day if everything does come together just right. right. And then the last day we got is day 3, where we actually got a pretty long marginal risk heading from areas of the lower Ohio Valley and even back down there into Texas. And once again, some things could change with day 3 as well. Like, even though it might not look as significant right now, there is a chance that we might see a slight risk added here. Like, we could potentially see maybe a slight risk for severe storms here, and once again we will talk about that in just a second. And we may also see another slight risk down here across Texas, and that's only if models continue to show a very active pattern. So once again, that's just something we want you guys to keep in mind, is even though it might not look significant right now, there's still that chance that we could potentially see an upgrade to a slight risk of severe weather. So make sure you guys keep that in mind as we head into your Wednesday. Let's talk about why that could be the case by first starting off by taking a look at the supercell composite, which once again, that's your chances of seeing a supercell, or how favorable it is for supercells to form. And we do still have some red and orange showing up, especially as we head into the evening hours today. You can see just below, right around 9 p.m. today, we do have a lot of that orange and red showing up, which means we could potentially be seeing some stronger supercells out there, given the fact that red is a pretty high chance of supercells, since you're talking like a 26 out of 48, and that's pretty high, by the way, since it's been a little bit since we've seen it that high. And then after that, the reason why tomorrow looks concerning is because look at this. We actually even see darker colors. Even though it might not be as widespread, you're still technically seeing a higher, supercell threat. And same when we look at the tornado parameters. Look at this. This is even more concerning than what we just, looked at for today. And like I said, that's not because it's as widespread, but we got darker colors showing up, and we even got a little bit of pink there showing up, which might be hard to see, but if we zoom in, it's especially right over Tulsa where we're seeing that highest chance, and that will be as we head into your Wednesday. So we really need to watch it, your Tuesday rather. Tuesday is going to be the day to really watch for, like I said, with how much energy, moisture, and wind shear we really have to work with in the atmosphere. So make sure you guys keep that in mind, as it does look like it's going to be pretty concerning overall. And then if we do take a look at the timing of the storms, you guys can see that the timing of the storms is going to be pretty interesting, given the fact that we are currently dealing with showers and storms as of right now across the Ohio Valley. But once again, it won't be till later tonight where we start to see more showers and thunderstorms pop up across areas of the plains, where we could see some damaging winds, large hail, and even a few tornadoes, and same during the overnight hours tonight as well. And then after that heads out, like I said, I think tomorrow for Tuesday is going to even be more concerning, with not only a more favorable environment, but also we got more of these scattered storms around, which will have that better chance of producing tornadoes. And then it does look like a lot of those showers and storms will continue into the Ohio Valley once again, so we are going to need to watch it very closely, as it does look very concerning, even as we head not only into your Tuesday, but even Wednesday is looking concerning as well. Let's take a look at how much rainfall we could see during that time frame, because for the next 7 days, we're looking from today all the way to Monday next week. So we're pretty much looking throughout the rest of September, and you guys can see that we are still looking at anywhere from 3 to 4 inches of rain in some areas, and that's mainly where you see those yellows and even those darker oranges colors. So we are going to need to watch that very closely, as some areas once again could maybe even pick up more than that, especially since it does even show maybe some isolated areas picking up over 5 inches, which for my opinion, I don't think that's necessarily likely, but it is still something we're watching for for, as even areas as far north as central Ohio and even central Indiana could still pick up quite a bit of rainfall. So we really need you guys to be ready for that, as flash flooding will be possible, which we will go over in just a second. But before we do that, I want to quickly go ahead and take a look at the Climate Prediction Center outlook, including our temperatures. You guys can see that for our temperatures, we're still going to be trending well above normal in terms of temperatures, especially across the northern plains, upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and even down there into the Rocky Mountains, where we're really starting to see the temperatures start to become a lot warmer, and same down here across the East Coast and deep south, and same as we even head into October. You guys can see from about September 29th all the way to October 25th, we continue to see above normal temperatures across a pretty large portion of the United States. And even though we might still be hoping for some rainfall during that time, I'm at least glad we're getting it right now, because once again, we really need that rainfall badly across much of the Ohio Valley. But unfortunately, if you are still hoping that we'll get the rainfall even as we enter October, the answer is probably not, especially since we're looking at more in the way of below average precipitation during that time frame. And same goes even as we head into October. So we're pretty much looking, like I said, at the beginning of October, and we're still looking drier than normal overall. So like I said, even though we might be hoping for some rainfall, I don't think it's going to continue after this week, even though we are definitely going to be seeing numerous showers and thunderstorms over the next few days. But like I said, hopefully we'll get some rainfall at some point in October, and then of course we will also be trending above normal across areas of the south, southeast, and even over there towards parts of the Rocky Mountains. So we really need you guys to be ready for that, as it looks like you guys are now going to be in an active pattern once we enter the month of October. And you guys can see that, like I said, temperatures still look to be above normal, like I said, as most areas are going to, probably be between about 10 to maybe even as much as 20 degrees above average, and that's why we saw those pink colors showing up on the Climate Prediction Center map. If we go back one tab, you guys can see that a lot of the area is pink, which means well above normal temperatures are expected. So make sure you guys are ready for that even as we enter the month of October. And now let's take a look at our flooding. Okay, we just took a look at our temperatures, which once again it looks like we're going to be trending above average overall, but for our precipitation, it looks like we will see enough to where flooding is going to be a possibility across areas of the Central Plains back up there into the Ohio Valley for today. Same as we head into tomorrow, with a slight risk for flash flooding across areas of Arkansas, southern Missouri, western Tennessee, and even over there into Oklahoma. I still think Wednesday is going to still be the biggest day in terms of precipitation, especially since we still got that slight risk for flash flooding heading from areas of Ohio and even all the way back down there into parts of Mississippi and Alabama. So make sure you guys are prepared, as we could potentially see some flooding issues even as we head into our Wednesday, and it does look like some of that may even continue by the time we head into our Thursday. Let's quickly take a look at the tropics now, just to give you guys a good idea about what's happening, because once again, Hurricane Gabrielle is still ongoing, which is bringing a little bit of rain and wind to Bermuda. Look how close that's only like, I'm guessing that's probably only like 100 miles away or something like that, but either way, that is pretty close. And if we want to look at satellite just to, see if they are getting any rain bands, oh yeah, some of those rain bands are actually clipping just to the east of Bermuda. And like I said, that's kind of why you guys are getting pretty lucky about Hurricane Gabrielle, because Gabrielle just swinted from not so looking hurricane to now almost a major hurricane, which it looks like could potentially even become a category 3 hurricane. So we want you guys guys in Bermuda to still be ready, as it does look like it may come west just like, maybe by a few miles or so. But like I said, I do think you guys will mostly be fine from this, despite a little bit of wind and maybe some rain. And then we do also have some tropical waves we'll be watching behind it, as it does look like we could still be talking about development even as we head into the end of September, and even as we head into the start of October, especially in the MDR region, and maybe some development across the Western Gulf. So we'll watch that very, very closely. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Consider subscribing to the channel, as we will continue to keep you guys up to date with the latest, as we will continue to watch it very closely over the next couple of days. We also consider you guys liking today's video, and also make sure to leave any questions, comments, or concerns that you guys have down below. I will be glad to answer those, so feel free to leave that. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday out there, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.